Welcome to Sri Answer Coaching Classes YouTube channel. To get latest videos, please subscribe this channel. In today's video, I am going to explain you Unit 2.4, the poem called Pulley. It is composed by George Herbert. Now, I am going to explain the workshop and its explanation. See.
Unit 2.4 The Pulley. This is a metaphysical poem that uses the extended metaphor of a pulley to explain reason why man is always restless. See the warming up. Go through the following images and try to link them with our lives. For example, storm suggests hardships that we face in our life. What the owl suggests? The owl suggests wisdom. Owl suggests wisdom. Rose stands for determination. Tree stands for life. Clouds suggest sorrowful moments. Bouquet of flowers suggests beauty. Waterfall suggests strength. Honor, mountain suggests honor. And sunrise suggests hope. Second, you may have often indulged in talking to yourself audibly. For example, oh dear, why didn't I get up sooner? Let me finish this quickly and then I will be free. How silly of me. Why didn't I think of it before? Such expressions are called dramatic monologues. Imagine and write monologues suitable in the following situations. It's your birthday next week. So, what situation, what monologues suitable? I think it is, I wonder what presents I will get. I hope that give me or that gets me the bicycle he promised. These are the monologues comes in your mind. You have been waiting long at the city bus stop. What will be? Oh, bother. No. Now I shall be late for school again. You can try your own monologues for the following. Third, the pulley is a mechanical device. Try and write down places where it can be used and for what purpose. To draw, pulley is used to draw water out of a well. In elevators, it is also used in exercise machines, in threads to open curtains, etc. There are so many uses of this mechanical device called pulley. Now, let's see the introduction of the poet and the poem. George Herbert, a Welsh poet, a region of England, Wales. The poet come from them, it's called Welsh poet. He was a priest by profession. He wrote religious poems with a lot of imagery and concepts. The poem exhibits a strange but two-way relationships between God and his worshippers. Though he has bestowed his worshipper with all his blessings, somewhere he holds them up with a pulley drawn. To be grateful to him in all our endeavor. God gives so many precious gifts to the devotee, but at the same time, God also expects something in return. What does he expect? Why does he withhold? The pulley shows how God lifts man towards himself with the pulley of restlessness. What is distinctly metaphysical about the poem is that a religious notion is conveyed through a secular scientific image. See the first stanza. Listen carefully. I am going to explain its meaning. When God had first made man, having glass of blessings standing by, let us, he said, pour on him all we can. Let the world's riches, which dispersed lie, contract into a span. In the first stanza, poet says that at the time when God first created man, he had a glass of blessings. Having a glass of blessings, he had a glass of blessings standing by. He said, let us pour on him all we can. He thought that he would be generous and shower all men all the gifts possible. Let the world riches with dispersed lie contract into a span. God intended that all the treasures of the earth which lay scattered should be collected and concentrated in the small space he had created, which was man. Let's move to second stanza. So strength first made a way. The first gift God gave man was a strength. Then beauty followed. Then when the first gift God gave man was the strength, this was followed by beauty. Then wisdom, then honor, then pleasure. Then wisdom, honor, and pleasure. When almost all was out, when nearly all the gifts had been bestowed on man, blessed on man, perceiving that alone of all his treasures rest in the bottom lay, God stopped a while. He noticed that of all the treasures, only one gift remained at the bottom of the glass, and that was rest. For if I should, God said, for if I should bestow this jewel also on my creature, he would adore my gifts instead of me and rest in nature, not the God of nature. So both should losers be. God said to himself, if he bestowed this precious, valuable gifts on his creation, bestow this jewel also on my creature means what? This line suggests that if God bestowed these precious and valuable gifts on his creation, man would love and worship only the gifts of nature. He would adore my gifts instead of me and rest in nature, and would not love the God who had created all the things in nature. Thus both God and man would finally lose each other and rest in nature, not God of nature. So both should be losers be. Last stanza, very nice. Yet let him keep the rest, but keep them with ripening restlessness. Let him be rich and weary, that at last, if goodness lead him not, yet weariness may toss him to my breast. Composed by George Herbert. In the last stanza, poet talks about, so God let man certain all the other gifts, but at the same time, he left man restless and continually anxious and dissatisfied. He thought that man should be rich with the abundance of gifts, but he should always remain tired and restless. God reasoned that only then, at the end, if the quality of goodness did not lead man back to God, sheer fatigue, tiredness would draw man back to God's heart. I hope, guys, you like this poem. Now, let's move to its workshop. Question first. With the help of the clues, pick out words containing the letter A from the poem and build a word pyramid. An article, a preposition, a past tense of lie, maximum length of open palm, make much of, loveliness in place of, collection of priceless valuables, restlessness, discontent, etc. See the answers. A, at, lay, span, adore, beauty, instead, treasure, weariness, etc. Question 2. Choose the correct alternative from the following. Herbert's poem, The Pulley, displays dash dash as the two main themes, and the answer is origins and mortality or spirituality. The summary of the poem, The Pulley, is to remind man about his creator in his exhaustion, and God pulled man towards him by making him restlessness and weary. See, in the poem, the pulley is considered a gift to mankind and an image by which God compels people to become devout. Dash dash is an example of pun from the poem. Rest in the bottom lay. E. Dash dash is an example of paradox from the poem. Let him be rich and weary is the paradox example. F. Dash dash is an example of synecdoche from the poem. It is may toss him to my breast. G. Dash dash is an example of alliteration from the poem. Ripening restlessness is the alliteration from the poem. H. Dash dash is an example of inversion from the poem. So both should be losers. B is the example of inversion. The rhyming scheme of the poem is A B A B A. Question 3. Discuss and answer in your own words and write in your notebook. The poet has used the word rest thrice in the poem. Write what the word implies in each of the 3 lines it occurs. Rest in nature means give importance to or enjoy the benefits of. Let him keep the rest means the remaining gifts. Rest contentment means satisfaction. B. What does God want in return from man for the gift he has bestowed upon him? Answer. In returns for the gifts he has bestowed on man, God wants him to lead a life of goodness and to keep on adoring the good God who has been so generous to him. D. Besides those given in the poem, what other gifts has God blessed mankind with above his other creations? Enlist them. Besides those given in the extract, God has blessed mankind abundance of creations of nature such as trees, the birds, the animals, the fruits and the flowers. He has bestowed on mankind the power of speech, the ability to read and write and use the language, etc. E. When does man generally turn to God? Give one example to support your response. Answer. Man generally turns to God when he is troubled or is facing some difficulty. I remember a neighbor of mine who professed to be an atheist, but when there was a stock market crash, we were all surprised to see him at our temple with hands joined and eyes closed praying to God. Question 4a. Discuss with your group and justify the title of the poem, The Pulley, in your own words. Answer. The pulley works only when it is pulled by someone's hand. The poet has given the poem the title The Pulley to express the idea that only when ripening restlessness keeps man discontented, despite his abundance of riches and graces, will he be drawn towards God. Just a pulley draws something from a lower position to a higher position. In the same way, man's thoughts will be lifted towards God, his creator. Pick out 3 lines that contain monologues of God. Lines are: For if I should bestow this jewel also on my creature, he would adore my gifts instead of me. If goodness lead him not, yet weariness may toss him to my breast. Pick out 2 lines that contain the following figure of speech. A. Antithesis. Let's the world's riches, which dispersed lie, contact into span. These are examples of antithesis. Alliteration. But keep them with ripening restlessness, may toss him to my breast. Inversion. For if I should, so both should losers be. Explain the figures of speech in the following lines. Rest in bottom lay is a pun because the word rest has 2 meanings. The last one remaining and the quality that helps us to stop doing something and to relax. Bestow this jewel also on my creature. Here metaphor because the gift of rest is implicitly it's compared to a jewel. And rest in nature, not the God of nature. Repetition. The word nature is repeated for emphasizes. Write critical appreciation of the poem in paragraph format. Here the appreciation is given to you directly in a paragraph format. You have to use points, title, central idea, rhyming scheme, poet, etc. The title of the poem is The Pulley. The poet is George Herbert. The central idea is the reason of man's continual restlessness all his life. According to the poet, this is because God withheld the quality of rest from man, so that man's thought would ultimately turn towards God, his creator. Each verse of the poem has 5 lines. The rhyme scheme of each verse is ABAB, ABABA. The chief figure of speech is used in the poem is metaphor. The glass of blessings signifies the sum of all human qualities bestowed on him. The quality of rest or contentment is implicitly compared to jewel. The other figure of speech is pun, inversion, paradox, etc. This is a metaphysical poem with a message, and the message is that however rich man we may be, or whatever the abundance of qualities we may have, we must always turn our thoughts to God and thank Him for the many blessings He has bestowed on us. The poem is rich in imagery and monologues. It is an example of extended metaphor. 7. Pun can be defined as a play on words based on their different meanings. Example: writing with broken pencil is pointless. In this poem, there is an example of pun. Find and make sentences of your own. Just share a joke with the class where the use of pun creates humor. I hope you like this video. Thank you.